Welcome, architects and developers. Today, we are diving deep into the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. We will learn how to design production-grade tools, resources, and prompts for back-end system integration. Let's get started. Let's kick things off by defining the Model Context Protocol. By default, Claude is isolated from your live production databases and APIs. MCP solves this by acting as a universal adapter. The architecture is straightforward. Your app runs an MCP client, which connects to an MCP server. Why is this a paradigm shift? Because previously, you had to manually author complex JSON schemas and routing logic for every API endpoint you wanted Claude to access. MCP shifts that entire burden to the server. The server provides three powerful interfaces: tools, resources, and prompts. For a deep dive, understand that this communication is entirely transport agnostic, passing standardized JSON requests back and forth securely. This means you build your integration once, and any MCP-compatible agent can use it immediately. Take a look at this flowchart. On the left, your application runs the MCP client. It communicates across a flexible transport layer, like STIO or HTTP, directly to the MCP server. The server then acts as the ultimate bridge, utilizing tools to interact with your database and resources to pull in internal docs seamlessly. When you expose backend actions via MCP, you must design effective tools. Tool descriptions are not just documentation, they're the primary mechanism the LLM uses to route requests. If you write a vague description like "search a stuff," Claude will guess incorrectly and your pipeline will fail. You must be obsessively precise. Include exact input formats, boundary conditions, and examples. For instance, specify that phone numbers must be in E.164 format right in the description. Let's deep dive into tool architecture. A massive anti-pattern is giving a single agent 18 tools. This overloads the model's decision-making. Instead, design specialized subagents with 4 to 5 highly focused tools and split generic monolithic tools into specific, targeted operations to ensure reliable execution. This state diagram illustrates the critical moment of tool selection. Claude evaluates the user's intent against your tool descriptions. A vague description leads directly to a misrouting error state. Conversely, a highly precise description guarantees an accurate tool call, successfully transitioning the flow to your backend execution logic. How do we actually build these tools in code? The modern enterprise way is using the FastMCP Python SDK. Instead of manually authoring hundreds of lines of complex JSON schemas, the SDK allows you to use standard Python decorators and type hints. Why is this essential? It drastically reduces boilerplate, enforces strict pedantic type validation, and gives you instant IDE support. You simply instantiate FastMCP and place the @mcp.tool decorator above your standard Python function. Look at the sample code on the slide. By using Pydantic's field class, you embed the parameter description directly in the type hint. The SDK automatically translates this into the perfect JSON schema for Claude, letting you focus entirely on your backend business logic. This class diagram demonstrates the elegant integration of FastMCP. The FastMCP class provides the decorators for tools and resources. By attaching these to your Python backend functions, the SDK automatically wraps your logic with Pydantic validation, generating the necessary schema interface without muddying your core execution code. A highly critical aspect of MCP integration is structured error handling. When your backend tool fails, you cannot just return a generic "operation failed" string. That blinds the agent. Instead, you must return a structured JSON error object containing an IS error flag, a specific error category like timeout or auth, and an is retriable boolean. Why? Because Claude uses this metadata to decide whether to attempt a local retry or escalate to a human. The deepest architectural trap here involves distinguishing access failures from empty results. If your database is down, you must return an explicit error. If you silently return an empty array, Claude will confidently hallucinate that the record does not exist. This silent failure is catastrophic in production. Always propagate explicit failure contexts. Trace the execution path here. When a tool executes, we check for success. If successful, we return data. If there is a failure, we evaluate the type. A database offline scenario routes to an explicit error object with retry flags. A valid query that simply finds no data routes correctly to an empty array with the error flag set to false. Precision here prevents hallucinations. While tools are for taking action, MCP resources are designed exclusively for exposing data. What exactly is a resource? Think of it as a read-only endpoint that exposes document catalogs, API specs, or database schemas directly to the agent's context. We use resources because they dramatically reduce exploratory tool calls. Instead of Claude guessing search terms, it can instantly read the resource catalog. To build one, you use the @mcp.resource decorator, specifying a URI and a MIME type so the client knows how to parse the incoming data. The deep dive here is understanding direct versus templated resources. A direct resource has a static URI, perfect for listing available files. A templated resource uses dynamic parameters in the URI, like docs //ID, which the FastMCP SDK magically extracts and injects straight into your Python function arguments. This sequence diagram details the resource fetching flow. When Claude needs specific context, the MCP client intercepts the request and sends a standard read resource request to the server using the defined URI. The server responds with the raw text and its MIME type. Crucially, the client injects this data directly into the prompt without consuming extra conversational turns. The final major interface of an MCP server is prompts. What are they? They are pre-built, high-quality instruction templates hosted on your backend server. Why do we need them? Because writing excellent prompts is difficult. If you want a user to format a document into Markdown, relying on them to write the perfect instruction is risky. Instead, you encode your domain expertise into a prompt template directly on the server. You use the @mcp.prompt decorator and your function returns a structured array of messages. The deep dive concept here is dynamic interpolation. Prompts are not just static text, they accept arguments. The user passes a variable, like a document ID, and the MCP server dynamically injects that variable into your expert template before returning the complete message payload back to Claude for execution. Look at the prompt execution lifecycle here. The user simply selects a prompt name and provides basic arguments. The MCP client sends this via the getPrompt method to the server. The server does the heavy lifting, interpolating those arguments into an optimized template. It returns the polished message array, allowing Claude to execute the task flawlessly. Let's bring this all together with a real-time use case, building a customer support hub backed by MCP. First, you use MCP resources to expose your company's refund policies as static URIs, ensuring Claude reads the exact text rather than hallucinating rules. Second, you define your process refund tool using FastMCP, crafting a description so precise that Claude never confuses it with the lookup order tool. Third, you implement structured error handling so that if the payment gateway times out, it returns an explicit IS error flag with an auth category, empowering Claude to retry safely. Finally, you use MCP prompts to give your human operators a one-click, resolve dispute template that automatically interpolates the customer ID. This is how you architect rock-solid backend integrations. Thank you for joining. I invite learners to like, subscribe, and visit quicktechie.com for premium certification prep, including Q&A banks, full ebooks, audiobooks, full-length training, and interview guides. This final architecture diagram summarizes our production deployment. The Claude application on the left runs the agentic loop, talking exclusively to the MCP client. The enterprise MCP server on the right cleanly encapsulates our prompts for templates, resources for static policy docs, and tools for executing refunds. Notice the strict pedantic validation, safeguarding the final connection to the legacy backend. Perfect integration.
Welcome to quicktechie.com. So just type in quicktechie.com here. Then you can go through the material which is provided by Quicktechie. So we have first of all video courses which you can go here and you can find the various video courses across the technologies as well as finance domain. So if you see in Microsoft, we have 8 programs currently running. Next, you can go through the ebooks available. So all the ebooks which are in PDF format today, and you can download this. So let me go through Microsoft certification ebooks. You can click on any of this and you can see this is the PDF available for you to download. So these are the premium ebook mostly available on quicktechie.com platform only. Now the second part is exam simulator. As we primarily focus on the all technology companies and finance domain certification preparation material. So this is company wide listed here and you can go through this. So let me go through the Microsoft one again. You can see this is are all Microsoft related certification. AB 730 exam, if you open it, so you can see here this and all the practice papers are available here. Today we have 5 practice paper. So click on the first practice paper. It would load the questions. You can answer this question. This is way you can answer it and you can move to the next question. Now third material we wanted to highlight is an audiobook. So we started recently with the audiobooks as well, which you can listen on the go, and various technology wise ebooks are available. And at the last, this is our alumni. These people who are subscribing to our courses and this platform, they are all listed here. And at the end, I wanted to tell you, if you find any course or training or certification preparation material which you want to get us prepared for yourself, please put on the comment section. If you're watching on YouTube, on Udemy, or on this platform itself, quicktechie.com, then please put the comment, or you can even send an email to using this contact us options here. You can directly do the WhatsApp message. You can call us on this numbers as well.